What's up everyone, today we are going to do a unit showcase followed by some summons, and finally I'm going to announce the requirements to enter my first giveaway of this channel. I'm going to be giving away the equivalent of €50 in an iTunes or Google Play Store card, you get to decide, I don't really care, €50, and I'll be announcing how you can join in that at the end. So without further ado, let's move on to our unit showcase. Essentially this is going to be what units I have and what I use them for. It's not going to be like what the best units are to use for Wyvern 11. Or starting off here with Dark Corvus. Pretty fun unit to have. I use him mainly on Guild Wars defense, sometimes arena defense if I was going to run a stall team on a Sunday. And yeah, basically always built tanky. I don't know any reason to not build him tanky. His S3 here, which is fun to use, it ignores any sort of like defense mechanic, so it can't crit, but it will hit for about 11k, which is kind of interesting. It has a long cooldown, but anytime he's hit, it will reduce the cooldown, so it just makes him a target that no one wants to hit, but you eventually have to deal with him. His S1 also has Provoke, which can help his S2 proc, or rather the passive go, and then reduce the cooldown further. These are the stats that I currently have on him, and I'm using a... what is this? A Strack Gauntlet. This is the effective resistance. That's fine. I don't really want him getting stunned, right? Because if you just shut him down and he never moves, then, well, that's just useless. He's not going to do anything. So, all right there. Don't use him for anything to do with PvE. I wouldn't advise you to use him for PvE, but you can do maybe if there's some Abyss that you don't want to do debuffs on. Maybe that says encounter. I think maybe I used him here, and you can leave one of the ads up so he can do his S1, and then when he's got his S3 available, you just do him on the boss. That's useful. Moving on to Zeno. I really like Zeno. I use him in Guild Wars offense, and I think there's more that I could use him for in PvP, to be honest. He's just a CC machine. He's also got the benefit of the doubt that you can build a Zeno with basically just broken sets. Here I have him on double crit hit, but basically, he's just a unit, just wants good substats, right? He just wants good stats. Sets are not too important on him, in my opinion. Right now, I've got him built pretty high crit rate, that's fine. Like, pretty good health. He scales a bit off of HP, so that's fine here. All of his abilities, and mainly his S3 that we like, just giving you the silence, is really, really good for PvP. Use him often. Well, yeah, I use him pretty often, actually, in Guild Wars, to be honest. And, yeah, nothing too stand out about him, though. I don't use him in any PvE encounter. Maybe there is some sort of cheese where you want silences, then he would probably be useful. I've also given him the Abyssal Crown, so he's just extra CC machine. That means that his S1 naturally has a stun on it, plus you have the Abyssal Crown stun that can go, and then his S3, which is an AoE, so you could add a stun onto the fact of silence and bleed, which is pretty strong to have. Ludwig, been using him recently. I stripped him recently for Luna, which we'll see in a minute. I really do like him. I was on the fence for him. I used him 2 times without any sort of defense break or attack buffs, and he wasn't really doing anything, and I thought he was rubbish, but after a talk with a couple of people that I play with, I decided to give him a defense break, just that, and he did way more damage, and his S2 scales incredibly well, so he does a lot of damage here. Really interesting mechanic is this penetrate, right? There's not many units in the game with penetrate, so we definitely want to use that as often as we can whenever it shows up, and having AoE penetrate is definitely very, very awesome. I have Crimson Armin and Achates, which are basically the perfect setup for him, so really good unit. I build him attack crit. I think that's the best way to do it. I put attack % on boots. No need for him to go fast because you're going to have invulnerability anyway. So yeah, really, really good for PvP, and I'm going to use him, or rather I do use him for a Banshee 11 team, so he's useful there as well, actually. Going on to Luna, the Dragon Bay. She is really, really fun. So this set right now I have her on. I have currently used her on a crit damage set. Was not impressed with it, but that was probably my set's fault rather than like her not doing well with a crit damage set. Then I used the Abyss 85 lifesteal set. I also wasn't impressed. I'm like, she's just not doing the big numbers. So then I put this attack crit set on her. These are the numbers that we got. I'm pretty happy. She does do good damage now on a defense broken target with no attack buff. She's doing like 25k, so she's still doing well. She has speed on boots. These are probably some of my best boots actually rolled here. What I would like to do with her though is if I got attack % boots on a speed set, I would probably give her speed crit with this crit damage neck as well. I think that would be better because she would still probably she would end up faster, and she would get the benefit of having attack %, so she would be more like 3k, 3.1k. Also, one more awaken will push her up a lot higher, which I will have in about a day or two after I've got the aid requests, so that's fine. Used in PvP basically everywhere: arena, guild wars defense, guild wars offense. She's even good in arena defense if you want. She can be used in so many PvE encounters. She's a natural for Wyvern 11 obviously, but because she always has elemental advantage, this ability here is just doing so much damage, and I've maxed out this ability because this is what you always want to do a lot of damage for, and you want to go from 80% defense to 100% decreased defense. So yeah, I will just max her out. She does have, my particular Luna here has way too high crit rate, which sounds funny because you want to build attackers obviously with a close to 100% or 100% crit rate as possible, but because of her S2 passive here, she gets passive crit rate, so I've got a bit overkill right now, but that's okay. When I go to the speed set, I'll adjust for that. Haste. Haste is on the bench for a little while now, but Haste is a great unit. I built a Haste fast, so it was speed effect. You can see I have a couple of the relics of what he used to have on him. Used loads in adventure for basically clearing anything. I used it in original Golem teams, which is really, really good, and I can use him for Golem 11, but I'm going to try an Armintha. We'll speak about that later. I used him in a Wyvern 10 team at the start because of the Vampiric Touch ability here is just so strong, healing all of your team, and Vampiric Touch is a great debuff. Again, another rare debuff, so kind of like having Penetrate, we want to use Vampiric Touch when we can. This AoE scales off of attack, obviously, because you give a lot of bleeds. So just a really fun unit. You could build him lots of different ways. I've seen him built with attack, and he hits really, really hard on his AoE, and people use him for Guild Wars offense. Absolutely fine. Really, really high base speed. It's like 120, so incredibly easy to build him fast. All around good unit. I've just sidelined him at the moment, but I could easily, if I had the gear set aside, I could easily build him or swap a unit around. Says... For those that were in the initial hype, you'll all know that everyone says you have to reroll for a Says, and I didn't really, I actually wasn't on that hype train, but it didn't matter too much. I got a Says anyway, and I just kept it, because I also got Haste in the 4-1, was it the 4 summon, or whatever it was. So I got a Haste, so I was going to keep that account anyway, and I had my proper name that I wanted, so it all was good. Haste carried me through Adventure for sure. Actually is really good for arena offense, to be honest. I've used him often because the S3 into an AoE is really, really good. He has very, very high base attack, so naturally can be built with an attack set, but can also be built with really, it's all about the substats when you're building an attacker, and he can be built fast with crit damage, with rage. You know, you could build it with anything. Iseria, my first 5-star pull on this account, and I was really, really glad I got her, actually. A great unit. Built naturally fast, for me at least, because she has defense breaks on everything, and I mean that because of her S2 when it's skilled, and I have it skilled. She gets to go an extra turn, so she's going to proc that and go into an S1 or an S3, which both have defense break on them as well. Full Bloom, an absolutely insane ability. It's stripping, it's giving you defense break, it's giving you buff blocks. It's just an insane move, so we have that as well. Built fast here. Really, really good. I've used her in Golem teams. I've used her even in raids for some things, because you can cheese stuff with the cooldown reset, because it's a very, very, again, a very rare move. So we want to try and use these rare moves when we can. A great all-round unit. Would use her for PvP and PvE. Like, if you have her, definitely build her. And we're using this Rosa Hagana on her, so she's dual attacking, hitting you with the defense break if it doesn't have it on there with the S1. Really, really useful. Assassin Cartuja, really, really enjoy Assassin Cartuja. He's had a couple of different builds on him. I like this immunity build because I now use him mainly for PvP. Originally, he was in a Wyvern 10 team before Wyvern 11 was even a thing, because it was useful to have evasion. I like having the lifesteal set on him. I'm not sure if I want to have Sigurd Scythe. I see people using Durandal, and I think maybe that is the way to go. So you just let him move and get his S3 off. His S3 is really, really strong, has 2 of the strongest debuffs in the game, stun and decreased defense, all in one move, and because it is elemental neutral move, it's basically 100% outside of the 15% innate resistance that everyone has on them. So really good. And then evasion, just giving everyone a lot of evasion. They're just missing debuffs, they're losing damage. It's just so strong. Rounding to Wanderer's Silk, another unit I really, really enjoy to use, built naturally fast. I could have her a little bit faster if I wanted, but she's fine at this. She just syncs well with how I want to use her. Her S3, insanely strong, unhealable, silence, and for PvP, pushes combat readiness to 0. So if she's moving first, you can just push back any of the opponents, and they just can never move if you want to. And then her S2 is also pushing back. That is a 100% proc chance to go twice as long as the unit is debuffed. That is something that confused me until recently, and it was pointed out by a friend of mine. So yeah, she can even do a lot of damage, even on this build here, which is only like under 2k attack. She's doing pretty well. And yeah, really good unit. Shadow Rose, probably the queen of PvP, I would say, because of this pushback. Her S3, absolutely insane, pushing back and increasing your combat readiness by 25%. Then she's got strips and decreased defense. I have used her on like original Wyvern 10 teams as well. I don't use her there now, of course, because I want an all-water team. But yeah, really, really great unit. Definitely shines in PvP, but good in PvE as well, I would say. I'm not too happy with this Healer Glance. I just don't have anything different to give her right now. Probably keep the Aureus on Kluri, as we'll see later. Coming through to Achates here, we have Achates with a Shamada Staff, but I might give her Rod now it's in the shop. Achates just a great tanky healer, basically. Really low cooldown on this Dispel, only 3 turns, and then only a 3 turn and providing invincibility, so setting up Ludwig perfectly. I've used her in a lot of different hard PvE encounters that just had to have a long grind out. In Raid, she's really good against the mini-boss that gives all of those poisons. She just gets rid of them and easy. And she's just easy to build because not many units want just all health on anything. So you could, of course, build her fast. That definitely would not be wrong. And that would probably be a little bit more PvP-centric as well. Though, of course, her moving fast is good in PvE. But you can just build her slow as well. And she operates absolutely fine. So really fun there. Cidd, really fun unit here, changed a couple of his equipment around, actually dropped his speed by 10 because it synced better with stuff like Iseria, who was 202, if you noticed earlier. Really like Cidd for mainly PvP for me, though he definitely does have use in Banshee 11, I believe, because he can do defense break a lot. Just a good all-round unit. I like giving him Wind Rider, so I can have a defense broken target. So typical team would be Flurry, Shadow Rose, Cidd. Flurry defense breaks, Shadow Rose pushes everyone up, Cidd moves, he can kill maybe a water target that's defense broken with his S3, which is really strong, and then he'll go into stealth, which will increase the damage of his next move, and then he comes out, buffs himself with increased speed, and just doing lots of damage, setting me up for the 3v2 of the remainder of the fight. So really like playing with Cidd, and also very, very strong to point out his devotion is speed. So it's like giving AoE speed passives to everyone, which is very, very good. Armin. Don't use Armin at all, really. Yeah, haven't used Armin for ages, basically. But I did use Armin a lot in Original Adventure. That's why it's a 6-star, because I wanted to get through the Hell difficulty on Adventure. A really good unit, though. I was kind of thinking about using it for a defense team in maybe Arena or Guild Wars. Building it fast. Maybe you could build it with fast immunity, you know, something weird that people don't think about, because Barrier is really strong. And then a stun on an S1 is kind of good, so maybe you could build it with a counter-attack set immunity. Something like that is really good. Moving on to Lorina, was the original damage dealer for all of my teams before I pulled anything, even though I had a Says. She was really useful. I just love the fact that she's doing insane damage with her S3, and is Dark Element, so just is a killer for hunts. Kind of used her in PvP, but to be honest, because of this, S2 needs to ramp up. She's not that good, but she can snipe most units that have got defense break on them with this. Just giving her the lifesteal set. Just an all-around good unit. You could build her in so many different ways. You could build her attack. You could build her lifesteal. You could even build her fast. It wouldn't be wrong. So I would give her Uberius too if I had it. I don't, so I use El's Fist. Might not be the best. Maybe a Sigurd Scythe could be swapped later, but that's how I'm building her right now. Falconer Kluri. I think this is actually the best unit in the game, and I say that knowing stuff like MLKen exists, purely because she's so easy to get, she's so versatile. I use her in PvP all of the time. She can be built fast. I use her in PvE all of the time because of her S3 is 100% armor break, which is so important to have, and it has, when it's burned, it ignores effective resistance, so it's just landing all the time. She's giving a lot of health. If I skilled this, which I should really skill it, it's healing even more, 10% then. And this is just manipulating turn order all the time for me. Just an absolutely incredible unit, built pretty fast here. One of my PvP initiators and my go-to for Guild Wars for sure. Carmainrose, I gave her Red Christmas hat from RuneScape to Luna, but she is one of my staple DPSs, was used for my Wyvern 10 teams for the longest time. When I get a different hat, I will use her again. Really, really good damage dealer, basically. I've given her this Ithaca's Scepter. I probably said that wrong, but never mind. Ithaca's Scepter? That probably sounds better. And because she has such low natural cooldowns, her abilities are just always off cooldown, and this move here, Vengeful Strike, just does a lot. Pushes their combat back, gives you speed, and decreases their speed, and it has a really high multiplier. So yeah, she's a really, really strong DPS unit. So if you have no good fire DPS units, I definitely recommend her. Destina, I pulled her maybe 3 weeks ago, so absolutely amazing tanky healer. You can just build her fast, or you can build her pure tank if you want to. She's healing so much. The problem with Destina is her long cooldowns, so even when you've skilled this up, it's 5 turns. This one here, I guess 3 turns is not too bad. Her S1 is great though, because she's healing with her S1, so she's an awesome unit. Give her, I guess you could give her a rod. No, maybe you don't want to give her a rod, but you could give her a rod, or the other one that I've given to my Achates, and she's just an insanely good healer. Moving on to my Armintha. So she is my latest project. I've given her Caladra, which used to be on Carmine, but Carmine is better with that scepter thing. Just built slow and an attacker. The main reason I did build her, though she is good, and she's going to be used on my Golem 11 team, but the main reason I built her is I don't have any attack buffers, and this is an AoE attack buffer. So I have a team in mind that is going to be Carmainrose, Armintha, and Ludwig, and she's slightly faster than my Ludwig, so she would go in attack buff, so then I would get the Ludwig with attack buff. That's basically her key. But she's also good on Golem 11 because she has heal block, which is one of the keys to success on Golem 11. So we are definitely going to use her. Charlotte, I pulled her really early on, never used her. I'm just not really sure where to use her. I've seen her on arena defenses where she worked. I've seen her on some Guild War defenses where she kind of worked if she managed to move, but that's her problem. I know some people originally used her in PvE because she does have a pretty decent defense break here. But outside of that, I haven't used her. I will use her. I'm definitely not going to just feed her. That would be stupid. And probably she'll be used mainly for PvP and maybe some sort of attack set or some sort of tanky set, I guess. The idea is you want her to just stay alive for ages. I guess a lifesteal set kind of works on her as well. We have to see. I haven't used her at all, basically. Auxiliary Locks, he is also my other side project, so I have Armintha and Auxiliary Locks that I'm currently working on right now. They will be my next 2 6-stars. Again, he was originally picked, or she was originally picked, for the attack buff. But after using this unit, I found that having a 2-turn cooldown on this ability is absolutely insane. So I've built it fast so far. It's absolutely not the fastest unit, but it's got a lot of potential to get a lot more speed on things. This here has speed on it. This obviously is going to get 1 more speed on it. I think maybe this has speed on it, yeah. So a lot of potential to get speed on stuff here. It doesn't need to be the fastest in the world, like a Shadow Rose can go before it, but it's going to definitely unlock for me a lot of slow attackers that I can just override that. And then finish up it survives with silence is always good. If they've taken a huge hit because I've just had an attacker and then I can silence, that's always a good time. Finally, we have Crimson Armin. When I pulled her, Ludwig was basically unlocked for me. Pretty good unit. Built her fast. She needs to be a bit faster. I need her about 180. That's the key, or 190. So I might have to do a switch around to a speed set, but no problem so far. Just a great unit. Has this ability here, which is obviously AoE immunity and AoE invincibility. I think that's the only unit in the game with those 2 things that are on AoE. So yeah, insane. I really like having Holy Sacrifice on her, so if she does die, and because she's level 50 at the moment and I am using her in high level Guild Wars, she does die. Being able to come back alive and then maybe being able to get another S3 off is just pretty game changing. So yeah, she's a really, really fun unit. So those are the units that I have built or am currently working on. Let's move on to some fun summons. So we've got an alright amount of summons. We are after an Ubrius Tooth artifact, a Rihanna Lucilia artifact, maybe a Lidica. I really want to use her against probably an ML Ken. And then perhaps a Kais, I guess. So we're going to go through nice and fast. We do not like to dilly-dally here, so we shall not do that. Butterfly Mandolin to kick off the show. Oh, nice. A little 4-star to kick off. Maybe a Cidd. Nope. Okay, we go for an artifact. Absolutely no problem there. Another Hellcutter. That's okay. I can probably now limit rate one of those to 30. Kind of useful. Might use it for, I don't know what. A Montmorency, not using her at all. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Skipping through. Terranor Royal Guard. Nope, not interested in using him. We do have an ML summon as well, so we're going to use that. Oh, hello. That's an artifact, right? Come on, Ubrius Tooth, please. What have you got for me? An Alexa's Basket. Okay, that's that 20% chance grant, increase attack and critical. Yeah, okay, we are not so gassed on that one, but whatever. We'll take a 5-star. A Nemunas. Yeah, so, well, we like the 5-star, right? We always like the 5-star, so that's pretty cool. Mighty Yaksha. Don't use that thing. Just food for powder, which is also fine. Don't care. Butcher's Corpse Inquisitor. Also don't use that thing at all. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use that thing. Anyone use that thing? Do you? Like, is it a sleeper unit? Oh, Ranan's Mirandum. Here he is again. That's going to come up every summon video. Every summon video we're going to get that. So we got a 5-star early. Oh, a Hazel. I actually want her because I want to make a specialty Hazel. Another attack buffer. So that's what I'm after, attack buffers right now. That's my current theme for all of my things, which is probably wrong to do it so late. A Terranor Guard. Good unit there for Wyvern 11 especially, if you want to use it for a budget Wyvern 11. A Misty Chain. Okay, not bad at all. She can be used probably for Wyvern 11 as well, I guess. Going through nice here. Aether. No, I think she's mainly food. I have seen her on a Reddit thread in a budget Wyvern 11, but nah. Just don't do that. Another Butterfly Mandolin. Play that Mandolin. No, thank you. Okay, so we got one 4-star, an Envoy's Pipe, and one Lightning, which is kind of really good, I think, already. Not the Lightning that we did want. Sword of the Morning. We don't want that either. Come on, another Lightning, or how about give me no Lightning and give me an ML Lightning? A Kiris? So, for the people that have started Abyss, can you just poison cheese it? Have they just given it a thing that says no poisons allowed? Is that a thing? Ancient Sheaf. Okay, we've got about, 8 more summons left, I think? Ooh, another 4-star. What is it gonna be? This guy again. This Zerato. This he looks like that dude out of Bleach. That really young captain. That's what that guy reminds me of. He is just fodder. Iggy Azalea. She always pops up as well. Yeah, I just fodder that for that 4-star guy. I just don't think having anything to do with just only stuns is that good. A Mighty Yaksha. Okay, moving on. An Enot. Okay, Enot. No, thank you. So 2 4s, 1 5, that's good, I think. Another Terranor Guard, so he could easily be S Devotioned or whatever it is. Couldn't he? Could do that. An Oath Key. 2 more of these, and then 1 more ML, and that is good. And then we can talk about the giveaway, can't we? Another Mighty Yaksha. Okay, that was the theme of the day, the Mighty Yaksha theme. So how about no Lightning and then an ML Lightning? Oh, okay. How about 2 Lightning, okay? How about that? So another 4-star and another artifact 4-star. What have you got? Okay, Siren. So I can probably limit the rate that now as well. So let's do our ML summon. Okay, for all the candy now, we'll let it spin. We'll let the wheels spin. And come on, give me Lightning. No Lightning. Okay, click off. What are you going to give me? What have we got? Oh, an Elson. Okay. The Lost Child after it got nerfed. Right, so let's talk about this giveaway. So all you have to do is the typical like, subscribe, and then comment. And you have to comment, that's important, because I'll just record myself doing some sort of randomizer where it picks a comment. All you have to do is comment what unit you want to pull if you spend your 50 on summoning. You can spend it however you want, I don't really care. You're going to get an iTunes gift card or a Google Play one, whatever you prefer. And yeah, tell me what you want to summon. Just comment below what unit one you want to have, like the video, and subscribe. Make sure you do that. If you're not subscribed and you win, I'm just going to re-pull, so you've got to do that. And yeah, stay tuned. We produce loads of content here. Guild Wars, Arena, Unit Tactics. We're going to start making stuff for Abyss. We're going to probably do stuff for Raid soon. Maybe tactics for different hunt teams. So loads of good stuff to come. I hope you want to join me on the journey of Epic 7. I really enjoy the game. And I'll catch you next time. Peace. While editing the video, I forgot to add that the giveaway is global. So, I mean, it's 2019, we have the internet. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You will get the equivalent currency of 50 euros. And we will announce the giveaway next Sunday. So that will be Sunday the 10th of March 2019, obviously. So, yeah, that is what we'll be doing there. If YouTube accounts, when I announce the giveaway, have been made on the very same day of this video, then I will just overlook it, because that will be no bueno. Apart from that, join in.